So, one of my viewers asked me to react to Gigabeef's video. He usually does like a tutorial video and really good stuff, and he does it perfectly. I don't know why viewer was like a little bit surprised about the video that he recently uploaded right now, and then he wants me to check about it. It was 15 hours ago. Alright, let's check it.
Today we will be outlining a system that I believe would resolve many of Tarkov's current problems, most specifically regarding find in raid and the current state of PvP, which is an extremely hot topic. After extensive thought and community dialogue, I ultimately believe that BSG...
Yeah, this has been happening a lot in like Landmark, Tiggs, and other guys' videos to talk about the found and raid system. I think, like, for my hot take, real quick, it's not even a hot take. In my opinion, I think found and raid is pretty good. I kind of talked about it in other video. I could talk about it later again.
It needs to delete find and raid from the flea market. Let me show you why.
Oh,
it would be an understatement to say that Tarkov has some problems right now, and this wipe has been one of the most scuffed for technical issues such as audio, networking, and cheaters, which has been done to absolute death over the last few months.
Yeah, it was the
worst. It has
also
sparked discussion more generally about the game's structure, why PvP feels unprofitable and unrewarding most of the time, and how the incentives in Tarkov drive players to leave raids early, leading to less action, increasingly boring raids, and players dropping out once the early wipe frenzy is over. In order to solve these problems, we need to go right back to the start to understand what the issues were in the past, how they were solved then, for better or worse, and how we can improve on these systems knowing what we know now without reintroducing any of the previous problems back into the game in the process. I promise that we'll get into my actual suggestions because this section does take a bit of time, but please bear with me because it's super important that we take a step back and look over the whole history to come to sensible conclusions about the way forward. If you really want to just hear the conclusions, I'll timestamp it for later on, but I seriously think that the context is important as to why I have come to the answer provided in this video. So in original Tarkov with the flea market, but before any restrictions were added, there were three main problems to solve: hatchlings, buying through quests, and trader flipping. Before find and raid was introduced, hatchlings, i.e. players running with just a melee weapon, or hatchet, which is where the name comes from, could run to loot locations and grab GPUs, LEDX, and other expensive items.
Those were fun days though.
Secure container to sell on the flea. Even if they died, making easy, no-risk money. At one point the game was absolutely plagued with them, as it was often the best risk-reward strategy for making rubles, because there's no risk other than your time. Some other systems, like having to heal from 0 at Therapist and Tagged and Cursed, where undergeared players get pinpointed by scavs, were tried, but none of these totally fixed the issue. At the same time, many quests were entirely pointless, because quest items that weren't special items, like the Bronze Pocket Watch, could simply be bought from the flea and handed in. Really not ideal.
Really?
We also had trader flipping. High rep players would monetize their trader level through purchasing items from tiers 2, 3, and 4 and putting them straight back onto the flea market for lower level players to buy at an inflated markup. Although these items were often quite expensive, because any items were available for resale on the flea, once you reached the level requirement to access the flea market, you could basically buy anything you wanted so long as you had the funds. This ended the early...
I mean, isn't it like that for all the games which has like a flea market, like MMORPG or whatnot? I think it's all like that, except they have like a level restrictions to play the game, I guess. Herrera, in my opinion, #1 should be desync or performance way above any other thing. Yeah, I mean, you're right, but he said he's gonna point out the found and raid items, so we're talking about that part right now.
Game in a matter of weeks because everything was available all of the time. The big plus side to these old days of Tarkov though was that because you could sell items from your secure container on the flea market even if you died, finding a LEDX wasn't a raid ender and you could still go about your business knowing that you had pocketed some guaranteed profit either way. Also, PvP was much more rewarding because anything that you looted from your kills was fair game. Ammo, gear, helmets, grenades, you name it, all could be put up onto the flea. So in patch 12.6, in comes the find in raid feature to solve the first three issues: hatchlings, buying or dying through quest progression, and trader resales. Naked players running to loot locations now could no longer die after collecting their items if they wanted to sell them on the flea, and while they could offload them to traders instead or use them in the hideout, the value here was often so much lower and the ability to make free money was significantly reduced.
Yeah,
quest
so I thought it was
could now no longer be bought on the flea market for handing into traders, as they also had to be extracted successfully given the find in raid tag would be removed on death or from a run through. As items purchased from traders would not come with a find and raid tag either, these could not be resold on the flea market, preventing players from flipping trader items for massive profit every reset. However, endgame gear was still available on the flea super early on, as experienced players could, for example, get class 5 armors and high-end ammo from raiders on labs even in the first few days, which were eligible to be sold on the flea market as they came from AI with the find and raid tag. Also, good ammunition that was crafted in the hideout was still sellable to other players too, which led to the early wipe ending extremely quickly. One problem with the introduction of find and raid that would only become apparent later was that players valued their life much more when finding high value items. I hear you say, well, surely this is a good thing, and it is generally, but one big downside is that players would now extract as soon as one of these items was secured. Raids would then empty out much more quickly, and players are more defensive in their playstyle as they move to the exits. This is exactly the situation that we have right now. Combined with the fact that selling PMC loot on the fleet is now impossible because it had no
come on, why is it doing that? Should I watch it on fucking YouTube? I mean on Chrome. Like, all projects sometimes do this.
In raid tag anymore, this forced players to either use the gear from downed players or sell it to
I mean, we're gonna have to listen to Gigabeef till the end, but at this point, I usually talk about the part. I mean, isn't the game all about survival and extract? If the game was all about FPS gaming, I think it should be better to play not Tarkov, but play something else. But let's still listen to what he's saying.
To the traders for a fraction of its real value. This has led to the situation today. Good attachments get stripped, but whole guns and many pieces of armor are simply left in raid in favor of 10k per slot find in raid items that make more money overall. One question is, were casuals better off? Well, a little bit, but not really. High levels were not flipping ammo anymore, but you could still get Altins on the flea market and run meta weapons and gear if you had enough cash, because they spawn on AI, so they're readily available on the market. To combat the continuing availability of meta gear, next came the introduction of the flea market restrictions. After a few iterations tightening the belt on this system, we have no class 5 or 6 armors on the flea, and even some class 4s, no top-end weapons, no high-level ammo, and various high-end helmets and other equipment has also been banned. This removed the ability for max level players to buy meta kits every raid. It also stretched out the early wipe by a considerable margin. You could still get high level armor from boss grade AI or a lucky stash find for yourself, but as it wasn't sellable anymore, these were for personal consumption only. Just looking at the flea restrictions themselves without the find and raid system, it doesn't actually modify anything around hatchlings, quest items, or
Okay. Oh yeah, no worries, Dusty. I like to watch these kind of videos. It's 15 hours ago. Invisible Scav killed you? I think the most pressing improvement to Tarkov is given bad Scav a more expressive cat. I mean, he can express on the streaming PC, not. Wait, let me actually give a little bit change on that. There you go. How's that?
trader flips, but also doesn't introduce any extra mechanics to force players to leave a raid early. It does disincentivize PvP a little bit, especially at the top level, as flea banned items clearly can't be sold to other players, but some class 4s, low and mid grade weapons, all attachments.
Let me read this real quick. So flea restrictions. No end gaming gear. Yeah, because of the flea restrictions. Early wipe decent pacing. Okay. Players staying in raid. So X means it prevents it. No end game gear prevents that. Early wipe descent piece prevents that. We're just saying okay. X is a little bit like confused. Yeah, it's like mark, not X. PvP satisfying due to rare gear resale. Partial. Huh? It's kind of difficult to understand. Like, I mean, I'm trying to like organize my head. Whenever I was listening all the way here, I understood everything. But whenever I'm trying to like classify all the stuff, what he's saying is a little bit difficult. I'll just listen to it till the end. Yeah, check mark.
And most other gear, such as headsets, unarmored rigs, and bags, could also be put on the flea, at least in theory. Putting Find in Raid and the flea bans together gets to where we are now. BSG solved the main issues of hatchlings, quests, trader flips, early game longevity, and constant metakit usage for high-level players. But we also scupper part of what made PvP in Tarkov compelling due to players wanting to extract fast after finding good loot items and the inability to sell other players' gear off at a fair price when you do win a fight. So, onto the proposals, the first being the removal of Find and Raid in its current form as it relates to the flea market, but keeping the flea market bans. This retains the early wipe longevity as top tier items are still inaccessible on the flea, but allows for player gear to be sold there, so long as it's not a ban.
So flea ban like the quest items. I guess it's actually pretty good. Remove the Found and Raid system and keep the flea bans. Flea ban the quest items and the high gears. Let's listen to it till the end. I'm stopping it too much.
Banned item. Alongside this, increase the trader repurchase value for the banned items to some sensible amount. Let's say 80 to 90% of the item's original price, which sounds fairly reasonable to me. This allows you to make decent money from the high tier equipment, but doesn't break the game's progression by selling it to other players. One optional piece would be to increase the value of dog tags that come from PMCs outside of your party group. This party identification system already exists for quests like Shooterborn.
Oh no, Cleveland! Thank you for the gift. Thank you for the sub. 4 months, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it, man. Okay, let's listen to it again. I got a little bit distracted. My concentration sucks, guys. You can see it from my raise.
Increase the value of dog tags that come from PMCs outside of your party group. This party identification system already exists for quests like Shooterborn in Heaven, and cheesing this is so much harder now that we have aggregated regional servers, decreasing the likelihood of getting into each other's games without being in a party. Now, one radical outcome of this system is that it fixes the issue of players leaving the raid just for high value items that they find, because items stowed away in the secure container could now be sold on the flea market on death. But before you begin to bristle, I'll explain how this is fine with the next proposal, dealing with hatchlings. As we've now removed Find and Raid in its existing form, we have to once again deter naked players from running into high loot hotspots and hoovering up the best items. To do this, we need Proposal 2, to have scavs in those locations at or very close to the start of the raid, i.e. before players can get there. This means that, as a PMC, you'll need the ability to kill 1 or 2 scavs to access those places, which requires at least the bare minimum of gearing up. Onto this, I would also introduce a delay when placing items into the secure container, along the lines of the CMS or the Serve12 animation. This would require a player to be stationary and risk being heard while this plays, which is only fair for protecting a high value item and allowing it to be resold. If a player can get in, kill the scavs, wait for the secure container timer, or alternatively run with the item and risk dying with it on their body before they place it in later once they reach a safe area to do so, then they probably deserve the loot. What then do we do about quests? Proposal 3 is fairly simple. Although we have removed Find and Raid for the flea market, we will actually keep the system and rename it to Quest Eligible. The exact same mechanics can stay for this flag as the existing Find and Raid system, except it only applies to quest hand-ins with the traders. Although the Find and Raid flowchart is a bit torturous, credit to Veritas for showing just how ridiculous it can be at times with this lovely graphic, it does make a lot more sense for quest items because...
Get the item. Oh my good lord.
Now it's not having to apply to...
Your ad blocker is stuttering? Is that the case? I didn't know that. Go Colombia works every time. Deserve the loot. No such thing should exist. Life doesn't give you lemons because you deserve it. What?
Literally every item in the game. We've also tested this system quite a lot at this point, and in short, you either have to extract with the item, get it from a quest reward, or craft it in the hideout. Nothing else counts for quest hand-ins. Yes, of course, this means that players who are questing will still want to leave the raid as soon as possible once they find their item, but now this system only applies to quests, not to general looting and to other high-value items, which I think is the best compromise. The one piece that we still haven't dealt with here is the ability to flip trader items on the flea market. Proposal 4 is to create a new flag called Not for Resale, which is applied to items purchased on the traders themselves. For yourself or any members of your party group, this flag is never removed. This ensures that on survived raids, getting items back in insurance or handing them to teammates that nobody has...
It's getting complicated. The kids who comes into the game as a newcomers will not even understand Found and Raid, but there's like so many stuffs right now being added. Like I get the point. It's really good ideas, but until now, at first, like I don't think BSG is gonna give that much effort in it. And second, I think it's gonna be more complicated for the guys, the newbies, to understand what the hell these are. But there might be more like better ways to express it. He's just like giving a rough draft. Yeah, let's listen to it. What about cheaters and hackers? Yeah, Dusty, I was about to mention that part too, the RM tiers. Let's see.
Has the ability to cheese the flag away, which would allow the items to go back onto the flea. The not for resale flag should only be removed if a non-partied player removes the item in question from a raid back to their own stash. For those players, they would never even see the tag in the first place, and once safely in their hideout, could be freely resold on the flea market by them. Of course, so long as if the item isn't banned in the first place. With these 4 proposals combined, we've covered off all of the original issues that Finding Raid was meant to fix, but adjusted it such that the collateral damage that it has caused to PvP is minimized. Let's summarize the combination of the proposals. Firstly, keep the flea market restrictions as they are right now, but remove Finding Raid for the flea entirely. Adjust trader repurchase values for flea restricted gear to 80 to 90% of its initial price, and boost the value of non-teammate dog tags. Add scavs around high value loot locations, and add a delay to items entering the secure container with an identifiable sound cue. Rename Finding Raid to quest eligible instead, which only dictates which items can be handed into the traders to complete quests. Finally, add a new item flag not for resale, which prevents trader sourced items from being sold on the flea market until extracted successfully by a non-party member PMC or scav when the flag clears. As I said before, being able to sell secure container items on the flea after death is probably the most radical outcome of this system, but given we've dealt with hatchlings and quests in Proposal 2, this would actually help casual players to retain a bit of extra money after failed raids. It feels intuitively wrong because we're so used to how it works right now, but we shouldn't be allergic to players, and especially new players, making a little bit of extra cash, so long as we tackle the core issues, which I believe this does. One valid concern is around the increase in scavs on the map as deterrents. First off, regarding scav killing quests, the number required could simply be increased if players are progressing too quickly, but on the other hand, they would only be around hotspots anyway, which are typically dangerous places to be. I think that most players would rather have more scavs to kill and a higher number to achieve, rather than simply being unable to find them at all, so overall it's probably a net positive. From a technological standpoint, with the improvements to the game's performance that we're supposed to be getting relatively soon, such as Nikita's quoted 60 player entities on the map at any one time, adding a few more scavs into these areas shouldn't be a problem, assuming that it all goes to plan. I know that some of you are skeptical, but we have to work with what we've been told.
First one. Increasing the number of players in a raid to 60. This will happen gradually and not on every location.
One final point that I want to address before we finish up is around whether these changes are better or worse for the casual player than in the pre-Finding Raid era. Under the freestyle flea market that we had before, meta equipment was available 20 better or worse for the casual player than in the pre-Finding
location.
So he's gonna say another like last point. So until now, I kind of wanna say a couple of stuff. So I kind of said it in the between. Too much work. First, too much work. Second, too complicated. Wait. I gotta see this first. It's actually a pretty good idea. It's a pretty good idea, and I agree with it. But the problem is, number one, too much work. Number two, too complicated for the people to understand. I have like so much stuff to say, and also like it's really hard to understand the whole thing. I just get like the gist of it. I might have to watch the game to like completely understand what he's saying. But from the hunch I get, I think it's just like too much complicated. Boundary and wait, does this fix the PvP being stale or PvP being boring? Does it? I don't think so, does it, guys? I'll read the chat real quick. I'm not a project manager or anything, but every update I ask myself if these small balances are really useful to reach final project. I don't think so, Pereira. With random loot boxes, hatchlings will almost cease to exist. I do think so too, yeah. That will help out. Gazagos, I'm running 5 hours of sleep. Alright, I'll see you later, man. Indeed, it's too complicated. That's the number one rule of extracting factory office as a scav. Always have AI bodyguard. What's wrong with complicated? First of all, as I was saying, I don't think new players will be like trying to understand what the hell is happening. They will just leave. I don't know. It's just like in a company's mind, in like BSG's mindset, like they don't want new players to leave, holding bugs. Do we really want more players in raid? Yeah, like wasn't that the whole point? Like he started the video with like the game gets stale because like everybody leaves the raid out right away and there's like nobody in the raid. Who really wants more players? Dusty, I don't get it. Wasn't that the whole point? We want more players. We found the raid is making like less players and we want more players. The game is already free. All the stoner kids be like, this game lagged out. Oh, another bug, I leave. Yeah, I know. And they will come back after the whiteboard, or they won't come back. But I don't know the other part that you asked. Content creators want more players. No, like I'm a content creator. I don't want more players. I want more people to watch my content, not play the game. I hope you guys all quit the fucking game and then watch only my video. That's what I want. I don't know about the other content creators. Funny thing is that game was designed for specific groups of people. Now they are dumbing it down for everyone. I mean, yeah, obviously they want money. Like company is there for money, right? Money is from new players, especially in these kind of games, because like there's like not a lot of method that BSG can actually earn money, right? So yeah, money is money. I don't blame them for this. Yeah, like them trying to get new players, I don't blame them at all. Like obviously it's that. I don't know about that take. I feel like it's too simple. What, like what I'm saying? Which part? Which part are you saying? I didn't get it. Anyways, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's complicated. And you're saying it's complicated bad? I don't know. Isn't complicated usually bad? Like, is complicated better or is it simple better? Like, is that even a question? I don't know, man.
One final point that I want to address before we finish up is around whether these changes are better or worse for the casual player than in the pre-find and raid era. Under the freestyle flea market that we had before, meta equipment was available 24/7 and allowed max trader type players to run it non-stop. While casual players technically had the ability to buy ammunition and items to deal with geared players, the vast majority simply didn't because it was generally expensive and you made a ton more money for your budget kits by selling high-end items to said max trader players instead via the flea. Those of us that played back then will remember practically every highish level player running a slick and a meta weapon in pretty much every raid if they wanted to. From an experienced player's perspective, it seemed easy enough for the casuals to buy a Vepr Hunter and load it with M61 to ignore any armor, and sure, some people did do this kind of thing, but in the casual player's shoes, these players often just died anyway, except this time losing more expensive ammunition. This is due to having a subpar weapon, along with less experience of the game mechanics, map knowledge, aim. These are the many disadvantages that a new or casual player tends to have, which prevents them from actually doing the things that seem obvious from an experienced player's point of view. I personally believe that the restricted era of Tarkov is still better overall for casuals, mainly because of the scarcity of top tier ammo, and that's in spite of harsher trader gating for low level players who are unable to access both top bullets and top armor even if they wanted to. David and Goliath moments in Tarkov are still certainly possible, and perhaps even better now than during certain patches, as very few players wear face shields and the Altin is borderline impossible to get hold of.
I agree
Leg
with
meta
that,
is as strong as it ever has been, with shotguns and
That's what's fun
SMGs
about the
since the
game.
black limb changes a while back, and because of ballistic mechanics such as fragmentation and
Like if you are like super geared and you never die, that's not gonna be fun. It's fun to like meta Giga chest or randomly hit their fucking eyes and kill them.
limb penetration, good armor is
That's the fun.
arguably the least useful it's been in a long time. However, that one's for another video. The balancing is certainly not perfect, and there are still some other things that we could do to help with this, but we're not going to solve all of Tarkov's problems in one video. So if you like these proposals, please go and share them around to others and let me know what you think. I want to know of any glaring flaws, anything that doesn't work about this or would break the game further. I strongly believe that we have an unprecedented opportunity right now to improve Tarkov for the future, and I want it to be done properly. The right solution is more.
So yeah, thank you, Gigabeef. I I don't know. I might not be on the right status to like right mind status to actually review this video because it's a little bit more complicated than I thought it was gonna be. So overall, he wants to. I'll try to summarize it. He wants to change found and raid system and the free ban system into something else, and it will improve the game's problem, which has right now was. At first, he talks about the PvP is kind of boring, and then what did he say? Said it at the start. Found and raid system is like boring and everything. He said it's something like that, and so people try to leave the game as quick as possible, and like. The PvP sucks because it's not rewarding anymore. Found and raid system should be gone and then substituted to something else. Also the free ban. I mean, it's a good idea, but like the solutions he showed, I don't know if they are actually gonna make PvP better and then more. I guess more rewarding PvP. Okay, I think I agree on that. But survival and extraction, people are gonna extract more. Yeah, I think he kind of addressed all the things, but like from the start, I don't really agree with Gigabeef like generally because I thought this game was like, am I getting out of the point? I thought this game was about survival and extract, also FPS. So as I said on some other stream, I think half FPS and half survival and extract. Game's the source, the game's composition, and like some people want GigaChat PvP rewarding. That's the FPS part, but some people want to survive, extract, and have the fun gist and fun moments of that. That's the survival and extract. But like some people are only talking about in the PvP manner. I don't know. Gigabeef wasn't addressing that part though. Yeah, I don't have the right mindset to actually like review this whole. But yeah, I agree. It will be better. Definitely better than right now. What if we change to what Gigabeef is saying? But the problem is that it's too complicated. I already said it like 3 times in the stream, and it's gonna be in the video too. Complicated and also like too much work. I don't think VSG is gonna do it. And then number 3 was like will it actually make the PvP more fun? Will it actually make the game better? I don't know about that. Yeah, so I cannot agree on that part, but it will definitely make it better on the part that he mentioned about like PvP being more rewarding and also people staying in the raid a little bit more longer. Yep. I think that's going to be better. But I don't know if it's going to make the whole game better. Is that the main reason why people get stale and people don't play after wipe? Is it? Is it? I don't know. I didn't really think it that hard. I might have to think about it if I want to review these kind of videos. Anyways, thank you, Gigabeef. I'm sorry I didn't agree like perfectly with you, but you know, if I agree perfectly with you, why am I reacting to the video, you know? Why would I react to the video which I 100% agree and then, okay, you're all right, end the video? That's not reaction. I gotta say some bad stuff. He has some good points, yeah. Let me read the chat real quick. Is people acting like the game is dead? What? I don't know the glaring flaws. Dusty, can you like summarize and tell me again? XCOM Tarkov key element isn't PvP but survival. PvP hungry people shouldn't complain cause doubly key plays is a preference playstyle. That's why I don't complain cause I'm doubly key. I'm on that side a little bit more too. Like, but I get the frustration of the PvP players. And Vicky said that he has good. Yeah, he does have good points. I'm not saying he's wrong, but like I'm trying to like see a little bit more broader, not only a found and raid system, and also oh yeah, we didn't mention that part. Isn't found and raid system and all the other parts free bans happened because of the RMT. I didn't think hard if Gigabeef's idea will prevent still the RMT. I didn't really think that part. I'm not gonna talk about it because my head is about to explode. I'll read Dusty's comment again. This game has hella life in it. I don't care what the weed breakers mumble and roam now between fab sessions. What? Cleveland. Problem is the survival is rewarding, but the PvP isn't. Need to fix the PvP to make it rewarding. I mean, Cleveland, isn't it like PvP rewarding if you just kill like 1 or 2 people? It becomes not rewarding if you like clean the whole lobby. Isn't that the problem? Or isn't it? I think it was something like that. That's why I like the PvP chats are angry because they can't hold everything and they can't sell everything. But if you just kill someone who gets in your way and get to the point where you were about to go, then it's okay. But if you want a heavily PvP, it's not rewarding. Just killing 1 or 2 guys, I don't think it's not that like rewarding, isn't it? Like, I don't know. I can't think straight that much. For cheaters, yes. Oh, it does solve the cheater issues too. Okay. General Sam was also about founding raids should count even if you die. Yeah, but people don't want to fight because you make no money, so they just hide and try to survive. But Cleveland, was it like that from the start, this game? Is it because of the founding raid system? Was it like that from the start? I mean, I'm not really big OG to talk about it. I barely played at that point whenever the founding raid system wasn't here. And I was scared the fuck out. I was like hiding and trying to survive as much as possible too, at that point too. But the GigaChat PvPers might think differently. But as a casual player, as a general player with general skills or maybe lower, as me, I barely survive even though if I PvP or not. Risk versus rewards. I think it has the same amount of people. It's just not a party bus. I think killing 2 guys is rewarding if it's solid dorms, right? It just depends on the fight. Okay. Also, there is a lot of quests for PvP itself. Yeah, that's why people PvP for the quest too. My problem with PvP is that most of the time I have no idea where I'm getting shot at. Well, that's not the point we're talking about, Vicky. I get what you're saying, but that's not the context, so I'll skip that. Yes, killing someone with good gear, you could sell it and make money. So if you know someone had a slick, you wanted it. Yeah, isn't that same for now too? Like, people will kill a dude with a slick. I mean, I guess it's related to longevity of the game. Huh. Okay. So guys, I just wanted to ask, right now status is better for the casual players? Is it? No, wait. Yeah, I'm making it too more complicated. It was worth 400k, okay. It was worth a lot more. I think the daily PvP quest needs to be more lenient. I don't exactly know what that means, but it should be better, right? Anyways, guys, like, I think this is too much difficult topic for me, maybe, because I'm not a heavy PvPer. But as an individual who doesn't PvP that much, and then like who just likes the Tarkov feature of survival and extract, and also like the looting part. To be honest, I already said it in a lot of times in the stream or the videos. This is the first game I ever played the FPS. Tarkov. If there wasn't a scab or looting part, I would not play Tarkov. I played Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch. Some people are gonna hate me for adding Overwatch or Valorant. Also, people are gonna hate me for that. I played those games, but never ever played this much ever. And I know I'm not the majority portion of the people who plays the game like this, but I'm gonna just share my opinion. Guys, don't think that this is general opinion. I'm just saying my opinion, okay? In my opinion, I think it's okay for now, like, and maybe it can be improved, but I hope the game doesn't stand on PvP side bigger. Right now, or maybe after it improved, PvP half the portion of the game, looting and extraction half the portion of the game. I hope it's like that. But it feels like people, as the wipe goes on, guys, as the casual players leave the game, the heavy PvPers are left in the game and they'll be like angry at the game. So like it's kind of obvious it's all the PvP heavy players who gets angry at the game at the late wipe. Isn't it, guys? I mean, I'm angry at the game, but not because of the PvP. It's because of the game's like buggy and laggy status, and game got a little bit. I mean, yeah, game got bored because I'm a fucking scab main. Or no, actually, I'm not really that bored. Anyways, yeah, that's my opinion. I'll end it there. There's more comments. I'll read that. Guys, if you're watching the video, you can stop it here for my takes, or you guys can watch the part where I talk to the guys on the stream chat. No incentive for PvP. Okay, founding rate works good enough for most of people. Yeah, I think so too. And activity was saying that I love PvP of Tarkov. Dude, that's too long. I'm not gonna read all of that. Can you like summarize to like 2 sentences or something? You're a big Tarkov content creator, so whatever you say is facts. Shut up, BK. And I'm so tired, guys. This is more tiring than playing the game, but I mean I'm sick of playing the game. Because SWAT team members are sexy. What? Yeah, obviously the guys who's watching the video, you guys still have to watch this part. I just get pissed at the bugs, especially invisibility. Yeah, I'm angry at that part. Activity. No, I found myself trying to find people in the map and most hide in the bush or desert. I agree with that, but activity, are they doing that because they don't like the founding rate system, or the PvP is not rewarding? Are they hiding in the bush because of that? I don't think so, right? I mean, I might be getting out of the point, but I don't think so, right? The biggest issue is the game doesn't have continuity. Most people just stop playing after the max out traders. Yeah, it's just the game how it is. It's not because it's PvP sucks or something, isn't it? The game is how it is. Like they wipe. If they don't wipe and they have like a end game content like PoE, people will be still playing. Or is it because PvP is not rewarding that people are not playing? I think the conclusion is a little bit weird. People are thinking that people are not playing because the PvP is not rewarding. Is it? Truly? I don't think so. The game is just boring. What if PvP is rewarding? You're gonna have more money. So what? Think about that part. Desync issue sucks, yeah. PvP is not rewarding. It's mostly gear fear that makes people bush campers. Oh, yeah, it's that, not PvP. PvP sucks as well. The PvP fucking sucks though. Okay. Frame rate and desync and cheaters and lack of great ammo makes me shippish at PvP. Okay, I mean I agree with that. I play since rewarding enough. I have like 40 plus mega kits. Bound space. I mean, like, what if it's rewarding? I don't think it's gonna lengthen the gameplay. I don't know. Not enough player want to PvP. But Cleveland, I think that's exactly why there's more player playing. If it's only PvP heavy based game, I don't think a lot of people will be playing Tarkov. Or maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see. Can't buy anything with money anymore anyways. Yeah. More money. I think more than that, the game turns aimless. Exactly. Only PvP... Guys, this is my just assumption, but PvP heavy players are the big streamers and the big content creators. That's why it sounds like a lot of people are talking about PvP heavy playing is needed more for the end game content, but I don't think it's like that. I survive 30% of the time. There is only Kappa and Lightkeeper after maxed out traders, and those are pretty hard to do. Yeah. Like they camp in the bushes and kill Chaz and store the gears in their stash and never even use high tier gear. So is that the reason why PvP sucks? I don't think so. I think it's more fun when everyone has level 5 armor. But why if it's like that and everybody is wearing level 5 like only shitty. Okay, never mind. I understand a little bit differently. What's the point of getting in a fight when my goal is leveling skills and fetch casts? Yeah, servers are pretty empty to me recently. Yeah, because the game hasn't been wiping for a long time. The game's like pure mechanic and the atmosphere of the game is just that. Like it's not the fault of less PvP rewarding. Maybe is it? It has to be rewarding in terms of emotions you experience. Oh, okay. Yeah, you do have a point there. It's like an easy conclusion, but I didn't think that part. Basically, dying to a first lapse raid from a cheater and fighting with a Giga Chat and dying are two different things. Yeah, Jamlik, but you're out of the context, actually. You're talking about cheaters now. I don't know, man. I'm a humble rat running nighttime woods. PvP for me is totally occasional. So let's assume that this game is only PvP and rest cannot exist. Exit campers cannot exist. How many players do you think there's gonna be? I don't think there's gonna be a lot. So you're gonna meet up a person who you kill every time, who you die to every time. I don't know. Maybe that's fun. The game needs a respawn mechanic of some kind. Maybe. Like, as we change into the game you guys talk about, it's like a fucking casual games that we already have. We're only 4 to 5 months in the wipe though, okay? The reason why they complain about PvP not being worth it is that because you can't profit off PvP, so the game turns into 1% PvP chats and the rest just try to avoid PvP and loot, so the balance changes more towards looting and shooting. Yeah, I understand that, Mr. Golden, but you already have an answer there. 1% PvP chats are gonna be only playing this game. I mean, they might be happy. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna be happy if there's only 1% that PvP chats are playing this game, and I don't think I think I'm gonna leave the game. Honestly, complaining about lapse cheaters is dribble as it's okay. Right now, the game is mostly just survival and not enough PvP. You just need to balance it. No, Cleveland. If you think about the early wipe, PvP matters a lot, doesn't it? It's because it's late wipe. People want PvP. It's the end game part. I think we're missing some points here. It's the end game part that people want PvP heavy. If it's early wipe, people don't want PvP. Isn't it? I remember back in the day. Ira actually spoke to revive system. Yeah, revive system would maybe fix a little bit 1 month. What attracts people to the game is the ability to play exactly how you want. Let me turn on some lo-fi music, guys. It's kind of awkward, me only talking. What attracts people to play the game is ability to play exactly how you want. Aside from right-hand peak, there isn't much advantage to playing a certain playstyle the entire time. I mean, that's a totally different problem from from the found and race system and whatnot. This became a total debate, not like talk about Gigabeef's video anymore. Agreed on the late wipe end game status thing. So much gunfire. It is really PvP heavy in the early wipe, at least less people using suppressors, so much gunfire. Yeah, I love the early wipe. I think we should wipe every 3 months. So, guys, how about we reduce the wipe to 3 months? Then the guys who didn't get to play the game for like a month will be like, okay, I'll just play in the next wipe. How about that? I think that's another solution. Like, we don't care about actual updates. Just wipe every 3 months. I recommend every Alexander. His music is perfect for Tarkov. Okay, I'll check him out. I have a Spotify bot playing his music on my RP server. Oh. Early wipe is so boring though. I mean, you can play after 2 months then. Long term, there will be wipes and no wipes at the same time. In Path of Exile, we already have a similar system. There's a standard server and a seasonal server, seasonal league servers. There's like a continuously wiping servers and like never ever wiping servers. They need to make that. Can't even watch streamers thanks to all the modes and reload spam. What? Dude, Shooterborn being 1 headshot per map would be dope. That's actually a pretty nice idea. Why does it have to be 3 people? To make it people play the game longer. Actually, wiping earlier makes sense and is the easier solution. Yeah, I think like wiping. There's gonna be people saying that no, I'm gonna have to play the 6. Actually, I didn't think that part. The casual players will be like, I need at least like 6 months to get the kappa. I didn't think of that part. But like, do you actually need kappa? I don't know. I think that will split the player base way too much. Have a wipe and a non-wipe server. But like, that's one of the solutions that can be actually made. I think. In PoE, which has the non-wipe and wipe servers, they don't actually play standard servers, the non-wipe servers that much. They only play wipe servers. 99% of people. Is it already like that in Tarkov 2? Like 90% of the people are playing on the early wipe, and then after that they don't play. It's already like that. It's already like separated like that. I don't know. He has shots. Do you remember that early this wipe the boss were super science? Did you like these? Oh, you're talking about AI scavs? Like, I mean, if it's gonna be kept up like that, I will be like okay with it. But it was like so intentional. BSG trying to make the game in lengthening as much as possible, so I didn't like that part. The intentions they were trying to make people to play more by dying a lot more to the AI scavs, which was really nasty for me, in my opinion. Which casual players get kappa? Actually, Mr. Golden, you do have a point there. Who needs kappa when you can get max scav karma, high hideout management, and max intel center? I need sniper skills. Just horrid quest design. Makes sense how many raids people enter and leave in less than 5 minutes. You can literally spawn and be in your extraction in 3 to 4 minutes. Imagine you need to at least stay 15 to 20 minutes before extraction open. How high is your hideout management? I don't know, like 30? I didn't max it out yet. It's pretty high though. I do like hideout stuffs a lot because I don't like PvP. Yeah, guys, like there are a couple of things that's been cleared out, in my opinion, at least in my community right now in the stream. First, I think it's just that too many PvP heavy players are like based on a lot of content creators and big YouTubers and big streamers. Sounds like everybody wants heavy PvP. And also, wipe after a long time, wipe getting boring. It does have some portion that PvP is not rewarding, making the late wipe boring and not fun. But I don't think that's the major issue. It's just that there's not much content to do anymore after the late wipe. They need to make something more like a. I think still Path of Exile method is pretty good. Map modifiers and stuffs like that. I kind of already talked about it in the video, in some other video. Like, we need more end game content. So I think it's like this. Because there's no end game content, the heavy PvP chats will be like, oh my god, I want better PvP. And it's like, it's not rewarding, it's not more fun. That's why people are not here. No, people are just bored at the game. They just don't do it. It's not the rewarding part. I mean, it does have the portion of it, obviously, but that's not the main point. The game is just boring after tons of playing at the late wipe, you know? So that's the point I can make, I think. I'll cut the video here. I'm making too much of a big deal from like some like random other stuffs from Gigabeef's reaction video. I don't think people are gonna watch this far.